Welcome to Cheat Sheet Tales, where secrets slip, lies unravel, and the truth always has a twist. Real stories, raw confessions, shocking betrayals. Drop a comment if you've ever caught a red flag too late. Now, let's get into today's tale. On our anniversary, my husband handed me a gift box. Inside was a letter, a list of everything his mother claimed I'd done wrong in our marriage. "It's time to start over," he said, "without you." I was speechless. He walked out and filed for divorce the same day. When I checked the filing date, I noticed it was submitted weeks ago. Then I found an email between him and his mother, plotting something much worse that began with, "We were married for 8 years. I thought they were mostly good years. Sure, we had ups and downs like anyone else, but I really believed we had something real. We lived outside Lexington, Kentucky. Not a fancy place, just a small blue house with a worn driveway and a garden I kept up in back. He always said the house felt like ours. I believed him. Derek worked in commercial real estate. He was always clean-cut, polite, the kind of guy people think is solid. I work as a dental hygienist at a family clinic on Nicholasville Road. I've always liked quiet routines. I'm not high maintenance. I just wanted love, peace, and a stable life. Derek's mom, Lorraine, was always a little too involved. She was the kind of woman who called almost every day, gave me backhanded compliments, and acted like Derek was still her little boy. I tried. I really did. But I always had this feeling she didn't think I was enough for him. Anyway, our 8th anniversary came up. It landed on a Tuesday this year. Derek took the day off work, which surprised me. He said he had a special surprise planned for the evening, told me to get dressed, said we were going out to eat. I remember picking out earrings and actually feeling nervous, like excited. Nervous. I thought maybe he was going to take me somewhere. Meaningful. Maybe he'd even planned a weekend trip. We'd had a hard year, and I thought maybe he was finally showing up for us. When I walked into the kitchen, I noticed something was off right away. No smells, no food, no restaurant reservations pulled up on his phone. Just a small red gift box sitting on the kitchen table, neatly wrapped with a silver ribbon. Derek stood on the other side of the table with his arms crossed. I asked, "Is this part of the surprise?" He didn't smile, just nodded and said, "Go ahead, open it." I opened the box. Inside was a folded sheet of paper. No jewelry, no card, just this letter. It looked printed from a Word document. I pulled it out and unfolded it. It was a list. A numbered list of everything I'd done wrong in our marriage. Didn't keep the house clean enough. Didn't lose the weight after the miscarriage. Didn't support his career the way his mom did. Wasn't ambitious. Didn't appreciate the sacrifices he made. Didn't take care of myself the way I used to. Talked. Too much when he was tired. Spent too much on groceries. Didn't call his mom back enough. There were 27 items in total. And at the bottom, in bold letters, "You've changed. This isn't working. It's time to start over. Without you." I felt like I was falling out of my body. I couldn't even speak. It didn't feel real. Derek said, "I've already filed for divorce. The papers are being processed. I'm leaving today." I asked, "What?" He repeated it calmly. "It's done. I've already filed. I'm moving out tonight." I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stared. I couldn't feel my hands. He walked to the front door, grabbed 2 packed duffel bags I hadn't even noticed, and left. No hug, no explanation, no closure. That night I couldn't sleep. I just sat in bed staring at the wall. The silence felt heavy, like the house itself knew what had happened. The next day his lawyer emailed me the divorce paperwork. What jumped out at me was the filing date. 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks. So all that time he'd already planned it. He'd already decided to end the marriage. He let me go on thinking we were still trying. He let me plan a dinner. He made me believe we were celebrating. He didn't just blindside me. He lied to me with a straight face for weeks. That's when something inside me changed. I went numb, then I went cold. I pulled out my laptop and started checking everything. Emails, shared cloud. Folders, financial accounts. I found a folder in our shared email labeled Tax Info 2023. Inside were emails between Derek and his mom, Subject lines like game plan, don't let her see it coming, we'll handle the house after. I opened one from Lorraine dated 2 months ago. It said, "You've given her long enough. She's not growing. You need a partner, not a dependent. You can't let her drag you down. File before she finds a way to trap you. I've looked into what happens if she contests the house. If we play this right, we get her out and keep it clean." That word again, clean. There were more. In one, Lorraine told Derek, "Don't feel bad, you're saving yourself. She'll survive. She's not your problem anymore." Another, "Remember, act normal. No clues. Make it a surprise. That way she can't get ahead of it." They were planning my removal like it was a business decision, like I was just some employee they were terminating. I started looking at our finances. Derek had moved almost $18,000 from our joint savings into an account under his name. He had already met with a realtor. Lorraine introduced him to her, and they were planning to quietly list our house. I found emails between Lorraine and the me. "Realtor," in one she said, "we'll be ready to show the house as soon as she's out. My son is taking care of it. We just need the timeline to line up with the court process." She spoke about me like I was just some hurdle to move around. I printed everything. Every email, every screenshot. I brought them to a lawyer my cousin recommended. Her name was Tara. She was calm, but had this hard edge I needed. We built a case. Asset fraud. Collusion, attempted real estate manipulation, evidence of emotional abuse. I didn't let Derek or Lorraine know anything. I told his lawyer I was cooperative, said I wanted a smooth process, pretended I was tired, broken, ready to move on. But while they were getting cocky, I was preparing to blow it all up. The moment came during the preliminary hearing. My lawyer walked in with a thick folder. Derek sat across from me wearing a new suit and that smug face he always made when he thought he was winning. Lorraine came too. She wore pearls. She smiled at me like I was a guest in my own funeral. Then Tara handed over the evidence packet, the emails, the bank transfers, the private real estate communications, the recordings from Lorraine's voicemails, which Derek had stupidly uploaded to the shared cloud. One voicemail, 2 days before the gift box, incident said, "Don't let her manipulate you with tears. Let her crumble. This is what's best for you." The judge listened to it in silence. Lorraine's smile vanished. Derek's hands started shaking. They tried to say the emails were misinterpreted. The judge didn't buy it. Then came the subpoenaed realtor. She confirmed Lorraine had contacted her about selling our house without my consent. Said she was told the wife would be gone soon. It was over for them after that. But that was only the start. After that first hearing, everything shifted. Derek stopped acting smug. His lawyer started calling mine, trying to clarify intentions and reframe the narrative. They knew they were losing control, but they still didn't know just how far I was willing to go. I stayed quiet. I kept pretending I was just trying to move on, but behind the scenes, I was digging deeper. That's when I found out about her. I had a hunch something else was going on, so I went through our shared phone records. Late-night calls, unknown numbers. One number kept showing up at weird times, 11 p.m., 1 a.m., even 6 a.m. I searched it online. Nothing came up. Then I remembered Derek used to leave his iPad at home sometimes. It was still synced to our iCloud. I logged in. That's when I found the messages. Her name was Renee. She worked at his office, a paralegal. The messages went back almost a year. They started innocent, work stuff, meeting times, then flirty comments, inside jokes, then full-blown texting, screenshots, photos, and then I saw this. Just a few more weeks and I'll be free. My mom's helping me get rid of her clean. Once, "The house is mine. I'm moving you in." I stared at the message for a long time. He was planning to move his girlfriend into my house, my home, the one I cleaned, the one I decorated, the one where I kept the garden alive while he worked late, screwing. Someone else. I printed every message, every photo. I even downloaded the audio clips they sent each other. Then I made one final move. I sent it all, every single piece of evidence, to Renee's boss. She was immediately placed on leave. A week later, she was fired. Then I took it further. I Found her fiancé. Yes, she was engaged. Her wedding was supposed to be in 5 months. I sent him everything. The texts, the emails, the pictures. I didn't add any message, just let the screenshots speak. 2 days later, their engagement was over. He posted a now-deleted Facebook status that said, "Some people will lie to your face and sleep with married men behind your back. Grateful I found out before the wedding." Renee tried to call me. I didn't answer. She tried texting Derek. I saw the notifications pop up on the shared iCloud. She ruined my life. Fix this. He didn't respond. Meanwhile, Lorraine started falling apart too. I knew she was very active in her church. She ran a women's ministry group and liked to brag about her strong morals. So I sent a curated package, emails, voicemails, her own words, to her church's board. A week later, she was removed from the ministry. Then her HOA sent her a warning letter. Turns out she'd had unauthorized renovations done to her property, something she'd bragged about in the same email chain where she was plotting to kick me out of my house. I sent those emails to the HOA anonymously. She had to pay fines and post a public apology letter in the neighborhood bulletin, but even with everything coming apart for them, I still wasn't done. Derek kept pushing for a settlement. He wanted the house sold. He wanted a fair split. I said no. My lawyer filed for full ownership. We attached everything: his financial deceit, his emotional abuse, his cheating, his mother's interference. The judge didn't even hesitate. He gave me the house. Derek tried to appeal. He failed. Then came the final twist, the one that even caught me off guard. One day I got a message request on Facebook from a woman I didn't recognize. Her name was Jasmine. She said, "You don't know me, but I used to date Derek before you. I saw some things recently, and I think you should know what he did back then too." I agreed to meet her for coffee. She came with a folder, photos, screenshots, legal documents. Back in 2012, Derek had been accused of pressuring another girlfriend to co-sign on a loan, then ghosting her when she tried to collect. It never made it to court, but the girl had receipts. Jasmine knew her. Said Derek had a pattern, charming at first, then controlling, then cold. I looked at her and realized I was just one in a long line of women he tried to break. But I was the one who pushed back. I was the one who hit back harder. After meeting Jasmine, I couldn't stop thinking about how many women Derek had probably done this to. Not just emotionally, but financially. I knew what it felt like to be emotionally gutted and blindsided by someone you trusted. And now I was seeing it wasn't just me. Derek had a pattern: get close, gain control, isolate, then discard when it suited him. I decided to look into his past more seriously. Jasmine had kept detailed records, which gave me a good place to start. Her friend, the woman Derek took the loan from, had kept everything: emails, texts, even an old police report. No, charges were filed, but it painted a clear picture. Derek had lied, manipulated, and then ghosted when she tried to recover her money. She ended up having to sell her car to avoid ruining her credit. I started reaching out to people quietly. I used a throwaway email and contacted old friends of Derek's. Some didn't respond, but a few did. One guy named Trevor sent me this. "Derek's always been that way. Fake nice." He borrowed $5,000 from me back in 2011 when he said his mom was sick. Turned out he used it to go on vacation with a girl. Never paid me back. Ghosted me too. Haven't spoken to him since. I was piecing together a pattern. It wasn't just a one-off thing with me. This was who Derek was, so I took it up a notch. With my lawyer's help, I contacted a private investigator. I gave him every detail I had: Derek's past jobs, girlfriends, addresses, everything. What he uncovered made my stomach turn. Derek had opened a hidden bank account 2 years into our marriage. He'd been diverting small bits of his income there every month. At first, just $200 or $300. Later, closer to $800. Over 8 years, it added up to over $60,000. And guess who was a joint user on that account? Lorraine. They were hoarding money behind my back the entire time we were married. And the worst part? Some of that money came from when I cashed out a small inheritance my grandmother left me. Derek convinced me to use it to pay down the mortgage. Turns out he rerouted a chunk of it into the secret account instead. I almost threw up when I saw the account statement. They were planning for a future without me for years. I knew I had to act fast. If Derek found out, I knew he'd try to bury it. So I took all the evidence, the account, the diverted funds, the hidden financials, and we filed for a motion to reopen the financial portion of the divorce under fraud and concealment. The court accepted it. Derek was officially under investigation for marital financial fraud. Lorraine was named in the documents as a co-conspirator. Derek tried to deny it, said it was a business emergency fund, but the judge asked for proof of any legitimate business dealings or tax filings related to the account. He couldn't produce a single one. His lawyer went silent for 2 weeks after that. Around this same time, my neighbor across the street, Miss Annette, who's lived on our block for 30 years, told me something strange. She said Lorraine had shown up at my house a few months ago while I was at work. She let herself in with a key and stayed for about an hour. Miss Annette assumed I was home, so she didn't think much of it. I hadn't given Lorraine a key ever. That meant Derek had, and it meant she was entering my home behind my back, probably snooping, maybe even taking things. I went back through my stuff. Jewelry was missing. Nothing huge, but little pieces. A locket from my mom, a silver bracelet. I got on our honeymoon. Gone. That's when I checked Facebook, Derek at Place, and found them under a fake seller name, but the pictures were clearly taken on Lorraine's kitchen table. Same wallpaper, same ceramic fruit bowl in the background. I took screenshots, saved everything. My lawyer filed a report for theft and unauthorized entry. It was the final nail in Lorraine's coffin. But there was still one piece left, the house. Derek had tried to push for a sale early on. I shut that down, but I still wanted him completely off the deed and mortgage. His name had to be erased. After the fraud ruling, I got it. The court ordered that the house be transferred solely to me, with Derek having zero financial interest or claim. Not only that, but Derek was ordered to reimburse me for the misused inheritance and pay punitive damages for the secret account. He lost over $80,000 in total and had to pay court fees on top of that. Then I found out something that actually made me smile. Derek had moved in with a coworker after losing the house. Not Renee. She was long gone, but another woman from his office. Guess he never changed. A few weeks after the ruling, I got a text from an unknown number. It was her. Just found out what he did to you. I'm so sorry. He said you were unstable. I believed him. I shouldn't have. He's out of my place now. Just thought you should know. Derek was alone. No house, no job, no girlfriend. No support from his mom, who was now facing legal trouble of her own. And I was still standing. Derek thought he could walk away from me like I was nothing, like I'd just disappear, cry in silence, and leave him free to start over with his mommy and whatever new girl he lined up. What he never saw coming was that I wouldn't just survive. I would expose everything he was and everything he hid. Once the court finalized the updated divorce ruling, he lost everything tied to me. The house was mine. The money he had had to be paid back. His accounts were emptied. The judge made it clear. This was intentional deceit, and he would be punished for it. But there was still one thing left hanging. Lorraine. At first, she kept quiet. Maybe she thought she could wait it out, but her part in the stolen jewelry was still under investigation. That Derek at Place post was proof she couldn't talk her way out of. Her fingerprints were on the bracelet, and when the police showed up to question her, she changed her story 3 times in 10 minutes. She said she found the bracelet. Then she said Derek gave it to her. Then she said she didn't remember ever seeing it. She was arrested for theft and criminal trespassing, charged and fingerprinted. I got a call from the detective after her arraignment. He sounded annoyed. She kept trying to blame you for everything, he said. Didn't work. When word got out in her little church circle, it spread fast. I didn't have to post a thing. Her arrest made the local paper. It was just a small mention, but in her world it was devastating. She stepped down from everything. All her groups, all her committees, her HOA position, gone. But karma didn't stop there. Turns out Lorraine had co-signed on a personal loan with Derek years ago, the one he used to start the fake emergency fund. Now that Derek's finances were wrecked and the fraud case closed, the lender came after her. She ended up having to sell her own home to pay it back. I didn't celebrate publicly. I didn't brag. I just went quiet and let it all crash down on them. Derek tried reaching out once. He emailed me a short message, maybe hoping I'd be weak enough to respond. I've had time to think. I made mistakes. Maybe we could talk. I didn't reply. Instead, I forwarded it to my lawyer and added it to the harassment file. His restraining order was extended by another year. I saw him once months later in the parking lot of a grocery store. He looked smaller somehow, pale, thinner. He was loading groceries into the back of a rusty Honda Civic. No wedding ring, no new girlfriend, no pride left. He saw me. We locked. Eyes for 2 seconds. He looked away first. As for me, I kept the house. I painted the kitchen, the one where he handed me that box. I changed the locks, put up new light fixtures, replanted the garden with tulips and lavender. I also started a small side business, bookkeeping and digital record organizing, using all the skills I picked up during this mess. I help women going through messy divorces, track hidden accounts, pull old records, organize evidence. I do it on evenings and weekends. The first client I helped? Jasmine's friend, the one Derek screwed over years ago. We found $200 still legally tied to her name. She got it back. It's not just about revenge now. It's about making sure men like Derek don't keep getting away with it. I'm not proud of who I had to become. I used to be gentle, patient, quiet. But when someone decides to destroy your life on purpose, to humiliate you on your anniversary, steal your money, and plot behind your back with his mother, you either fight back or get buried. I chose to fight. And I didn't just win. I made damn sure they'd never forget who they tried to erase. The woman Derek handed a gift box to gave him a disaster in return.